Hello and welcome to No Rest for the Weekend. I'm Jason Godbey, here with part 4 in our series of episodes recapping our coverage of this year's Tribeca Festival. We got some great interviews coming up for you, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
No Rest for the Weekend's coverage of the Tribeca Film Festival is sponsored by Black Magic Design, the world's highest quality products for the feature film, post and broadcast industries. blackmagicdesign.com.
Between the Temples had its New York premiere at Tribeca this year. Eric McClanahan was there on the red carpet where he caught up with stars Madeline Weinstein, Carol Kane, Robert Smigel, and Jason Schwartzman.
In this film, there's a wonderful scene where you're in the graveyard, you're meeting with Ben, and you have the perfect timed power lock release.
Well, it was mainly difficult because I kept forgetting to lock the door before we shot it. So we got there and I'd be like, sorry guys, it's already unlocked. But you can thank my ADHD for that. But it was really fun. I mean, it's such an odd scene and it was so hard to know tonally how it would play. So actually in the moment, I mean, the beginning of it felt funny, but then there was a moment where Jason got very kind of emotional, surprisingly. So I had kind of no idea doing it, whether it was going to be a kind of moving moment or a deeply funny moment, but I think it's kind of both things.
How did you feel being brought on this project, bringing those sorts of thematic elements to screen?
I love Nathan's sensibility, and Chris's as well, but I lived with Nathan for a year in 2016, and he just has this totally kind of chaotic, evil seeming but totally loving way of moving through the world. He's such a warm, kind person, but has this kind of slightly demonic laugh, like this mischief in him. And so I think I just trust that anything he does is going to have this kind of freewheeling, kind of wild, challenging, dark humor, but have a real heart to it. So I just kind of reading the treatment, I just knew whatever it was going to be infused with that. And I think he did a really good job of bringing everyone onto the same page to make this very unique movie.
And I spoke with another actor, and he said there was quite a bit of improvisation on the set. How did that feel as a performer with this sensitive story matter in your hands?
It felt fun. I'd never really done a movie before, or TV or anything, where there was a lot of improv. But, because we'd read these treatments instead of real scripts, it kind of was natural because you're almost reading it more as a short story. So it was mainly just really fun, and I mainly work with Jason and Dolly some, and they're both such funny people. I mean, Jason's maybe the most playful person I've ever met. He must be like the most incredible dad. He has, I think, 3 kids. It's so playful that it just like is so generous and gives you so much to work with. Just even watching him, like inevitably, great stuff's going to come out in response to what he's doing.
I watched the film actually when it was at Sundance, and I loved it. And I loved your character.
It's a treasure to have a role of someone my age who is, committed to living in the moment in her life and growing and changing. And the fact that she's my age, that's an important thing because a lot of people, when they reach their 70s, maybe they think, I guess I should fold up my tent. But she's just pitching a new tent. And it's exciting and important. It's an important reminder. As an actor, I learned so much. I mean, I learned so much studying for the bat mitzvah. It was incredible, and improvising with Jason and with Nathan, and it was incredible.
And what was it like having a scene partner in Jason Schwartzman? I hear very good things about how giving he can be.
I just love him so much, and I trust him implicitly, so I could not think of a better scene partner. I feel lucky for life that I had this experience. I love him.
So tell me about your involvement in the project, how you came on board.
I just got a message from my manager that Nathan Silver wanted me in a movie, and I wasn't particularly familiar with Nathan's work, to be honest. But they sent me some samples of his work, and I looked at the script, and I loved it, and I was very excited to be a part of it.
You are sort of the voice of reason throughout the film. Is that
I wouldn't say that.
is that a position you find yourself in your everyday life?
The voice of reason. I'm usually the person who has to hear from the voice of reason, all throughout my career, actually. But in this movie, I play the rabbi in this movie is not the most. I wouldn't call him the most reasonable human in the movie.
I found him to be very pragmatic.
Pragmatic, yes, but that's not necessarily, pragmatic isn't always the best way to go. Yeah, he's interested in raising money for his temple, but he's willing to bend a lot of rules. And, I love the movie because it doesn't mock religion. It has characters who challenge your notions of what religion is and maybe cast some doubt. But ultimately, I think the movie is very affirming of religion, and I love that about it. And yes, I play a rabbi, and that took a lot of hours in the makeup chair. Convince people that I could be a rabbi, but it was, half the budget.
Movie magic.
He looked somehow Jewish.
Wow, I don't know how they did it. It's amazing. I understand there was a lot of improvisation. It was a very loose set. You basically worked off a treatment rather than a script.
What started as a treatment, but by the day we shot, there was a form of a script. And yes, it was worked through some improv and discussion, but for the most part, it was there by the day we shot. The last scene in the movie, the big dinner scene, was a great deal of improv. And we were trying different things over 2 different nights. And I think they did an amazing job, both, figuring out the plot at that point, and the editor did an amazing job as well. So it's very throwback to the 70s. It's very intimate and invasive at the same time. All stuff that I found thrilling when I finally got to watch the movie. I was really impressed, and I'm a kid from the 70s, so that was a great era of movie making. So I love the fact that they shot it that way, and even the film stock they used was reminiscent of that era.
So once again, you're in a film with a May December romance. Is this something you're drawn to, or you feel you're getting typecast?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even think about it. I'm still trying to understand. You think that movies are going to help you understand yourself, your life. They don't. I know nothing. I know less about myself than I did going in. But I'm just happy to be in a movie with Carol Kane, ultimately.
Yes.
I mean, really, I've just been trying to get to this point.
Right, it's all like, if I just keep at it, they'll put me in a film with Carol Kane.
I mean, she's been in everything. And it's crazy when she's talking about people, and, she uses these first name bases, then you realize, oh, she's talking about that person and that person and that person. It's a little crazy.
We were talking with Madeline Weinstein, and she said having you as a scene partner has been the highlight of her life.
No.
Did you feel any of that chemistry while you were on?
Absolutely. Well, she is incredible, first of all. And I mean, I'm so lucky because everybody we worked with, we made the movie in a kind of in a special way that was really just about being in the moment, and being very present, and trying scenes in different locations and trying different degrees of things out, and she's incredible, and we had some really crazy scenes to do, and it was like, she also, without giving too much away, she almost kind of plays 2 characters in the movie, and she was a real essential, kind of like my rock for the
grounding presence.
Yeah, very much so, and just nice to laugh with someone. She's a good laugher, and when someone laughs, it changes your life.
We first reviewed Between the Temples earlier this year when it made its world premiere at Sundance Film Festival. You can find that episode on the YouTube channel or on the website. Up next, we got an interview with the director and stars of one of my favorite films of Tribeca this year, Griffin in Summer. I spoke with director Nicholas Colia and stars Everette Blunck and Owen Teague. Joining me now via Zoom, we've got the director and 2 of the stars of the new feature Griffin in Summer, Nicholas Colia, Everette Blunck, and Owen Teague. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Hi, thanks.
Hi.
It's great to have you. I did get to see the movie, and I got to say, fantastic job. Really, really enjoyed it. But let's talk about, this is your world premiere. You guys are at Tribeca. What does that feel like?
It feels fantastic. We shot the film in August, and we're still editing it into April. So the Tribeca timeline really worked out perfectly with us. And I live in New York. Owen lives in New York. Griffin wants to live in New York, and so it was really kind of the perfect place for this film to have its first showing.
So, for those who haven't seen it, can you give me like a little bit about the film and maybe like how it kind of came to be?
Griffin in Summer is a comedy about a 14-year-old named Griffin who very much wants to be a serious playwright, even though he's only 14. And the surprise summer friendship he forms with Brad, who's a 25-year-old handyman working on the house where Griffin lives. And it's just over the course of the film, you see Griffin's feelings for Brad evolve as Griffin's play evolves, as his life evolves. And how did it come to be? I started writing the script during COVID. I was digitizing some home videos of all the plays and films that I directed out of my parents' basement when I was a kid, like Griffin did. And became obsessed with this idea of playing adult, meaning 14, 15-year-olds dressing up like they're middle-aged and drinking fake martinis and talking about their divorces. And just the whole idea of that struck me, especially the idea of the kid who's off stage, who's playing adult more aggressively than any of them. And the idea of people who play adult or overachieve in one area of their life, maybe as a way to avoid another area of their life. And then the other side of that was, well, what about an actual adult character, somewhat of an adult, in Brad, entering the life of this person who's pretending he's an adult, and how would they affect each other?
When I first started watching this, Everett, I want to address this to you because I really love this character. I think, and I actually related to him quite a bit. But I was like, how did they get like a 30-year-old man trapped in a 14-year-old's body? So can you talk about kind of how you approach the role and how you kind of, what you felt like when you read the script?
I read the script, so I had an audition sent to me from a local casting director, and it was Griffin in Summer. And I read the script, and I knew immediately that I wanted it, because I can just, there's that feeling when you read something or you watch something or someone tells you and you just immediately like connect to it, and it's fluid, and you know how you want to do it, and you know how you want to act it. And so I immediately, once I read the script, I was like, I need to do this. And so I agree with that sentence that he's like a 30-year-old man trapped in a teenager's body. I kind of just, I mean, Nicholas wrote Griffin super well, and so it was really easy for me to kind of, see his vision and see what he imagined for him. And so we kind of worked on that together. I know some people who are writers or who write for fun, and I kind of looked at them and how they behaved and how they treat their plays or their scripts or whatever. And I kind of took some of that, and I also took some of young Sheldon-ish kind of stuff, but instead of like, his being a brainiac, I kind of, like more of an artistic person. So that's kind of how I started, and then it kind of develops, we talked about it, and with each scene it kind of grew more and more.
Oh, and I wanted to ask you, the last time I saw you on screen, you were a CGI ape. This had to be a big, I mean, I can only imagine the differences between working on something like, Kingdom and then working on this. What was your feeling when you first saw the script?
I loved it. I mean, that's usually what gets me. I mean, not usually. That's kind of always what gets me interested in doing anything is a great script, and it was just very, very funny, and also kind of really moving. In terms of Griffin's part of it, Brad's part of it, not so much moving, but very funny. But it was a character too that I had never played before, and that I really wanted to get to do. And so I met with Nicholas, and we talked, and it was just kind of like instantly, I was like, yeah, this would be really fun. So the fact that you let me do it was awesome. You handed Brad to me and said, how far do you want to take this?
Owen also said to me, because Brad has to do some extreme things that some actors maybe would shy away from, and Owen said, the quote was something like, there is no such thing as too far. You were like I will go like as far as you want me to go.
I will go fully into that
and I called his bluff. I was like,
yep,
great.
Yep.
So we're doing it.
And was there anything that I was like, no, I'm not gonna?
No. You wanted to go far. There were times where I was like,
there were times where you were pulling me back. Yeah. I know. No, that was what attracted me. It was such a well-written, smart script. And then you got Everette, and it was perfect.
I think there's two things at play in this film that I believe are really the hardest things to do in any movie, is getting the tone right, especially for a comedy, and then getting the chemistry right between all these people. And you're working with young actors. Did you guys do like a lot of rehearsal? Like, how did you approach as a team, how did you guys approach this?
We did not have a lot of rehearsal time. I definitely said that we needed some. As soon as Everett was cast, Owen had been cast already, and as soon as Everett was cast, which was late in the process, but we started doing Zoom rehearsals, and me rehearsing with Everett on Zoom. And then in Virginia, where we shot, I really think it was just 3 days that we had a rehearsal with all the kids and with Owen. And that was really, really helpful. But it was 2023. So I didn't meet Everett in person until we were about to shoot. And I didn't, same with most of the cast, it was all on Zoom. But Meredith Tucker and Betsy Fincher are the casting directors, and they did a really fantastic job.
There's a couple of scenes especially between Everett and Owen, that I thought, that could be really bad if they get this wrong. Were you guys like, how did you kind of get in tune to those scenes? Because sort of from one perspective, they're sort of funny, and then they're sort of like tragic from another perspective. I don't want to spoil anything, but like, did you guys work on those together, or was it just like, we're gonna roll the cameras and get it on kind of thing?
So for me, I kind of looked at the scenes with Brad as more of like, he looks up to Brad, and he wants to do the stuff that Brad, like, he doesn't necessarily want to be a performance artist, but Brad, he lives in New York, and he shows his art in New York. And so I thought of it more as Griffin looking up to Brad and wanting to be Brad and taking inspiration from Brad. And I think that helped me with the dynamic between Griffin and Brad. So that was just from my part.
Yeah, we did rehearse those scenes.
Yeah.
When we had that kind of like rehearsal week. But I mean, for me, it's like Brad is in such desperate need of validation and admiration and it's just anything positive from anyone, that like Griffin's respect and adoration becomes to him like he's getting, it's the only place in his life where he's really getting it, which is very sad, but he sort of starts to need it. But also like making sure that, like, the relationship between them, Brad is fully oblivious to Griffin's side. Brad has absolutely no idea, probably because he's so narcissistic that like it just hasn't occurred to him to even really look. But there was kind of, the chemistry between us was instant. It was like just effortless. You don't get that a lot of the time, especially not with a younger actor. It never felt like I was working with somebody who'd was new or anything like that.
Yeah,
so easy.
The chemistry was really great, and chemistry is like one of the most important things in my opinion for like acting, because if you don't have that, you don't the characters don't connect as well, and so it was super easy to kind of click into that, which really helped me play Griffin, and I'm pretty sure helped you play Brad.
Definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah.
He's also like, he is kind of the 30-year-old man in a teenage body. Like he's an old soul is what people used to call me, and it's true for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically twins.
Well,
I'm sitting here, so you can tell the difference between.
He's the better version of me.
We were trying to figure out in how many years we'll ever be competing for roles with Owen. Like after that, Owen will be like, "That 19-year-old, this kid Everette Blunck just got this part,
stole it away."
Stole it away. They're like, "We want a skinny guy." I'm sorry.
As long as you don't start playing CGI age, it'll be good.
I can't make that promise.
Actually, that'd be fun.
There'll be another.
Anyway.
I mean, I can only imagine what you thought when you saw it for the first time and it came together, because I kind of went in cold. I read the little blurb, and then I just sat down to watch it, and I was really blown away by it. I mean, I'll spoil my review right now. I thought it was fantastic. I thought you guys made a hell of a movie. You're gonna see it tonight with an audience. I don't know how you feel about that. What the anticipation is. What do you want audiences to take away, and what do you expect to see?
I'd say one of the things that I would take away as an audience member would be to not, don't rush your childhood. I think Griffin rushes his childhood a bunch, which kind of, if you've seen the movie, it does not end up well. It ends up poorly, and then there's the resolution. But so I think just like enjoy every day as it is, and it's good to be mature, but don't take it to a level that it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see it with an audience because I've only seen it alone in my apartment, and there's obviously some moments in the movie that are big moments. And I'm stoked to see it with people watching and see what their reaction to that is. It's always fun watching a comedy with other people because it's just you get to see what people react to, and this movie has some comedy in it that I've never gotten to watch live, especially, with myself. I don't know. I'm really excited.
And that's all we got for you today. Thanks so much for taking this trip down the rabbit hole. For more of our content, including more film festival coverage, visit our website, norestfortheweekendpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube, youtube.com/getbehindtherabbit. I'd like to thank everyone who came out to chat with us at Tribeca this year, and a big thanks to our sponsor, Blackmagic Design. For Behind the Rabbit Productions, I'm Jason Godbey. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
This is the BTRP Media Network.